Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Sunday, November the 20th, 2022. Friday's trade was pretty much in line with expectations, other than I didn't really see, and I don't believe that there was any true real fireworks, like having Apple have a 10-point range and et cetera, that didn't occur. We're a little busy in the morning. There were some good trades in the morning. But once levels were reached and that first hour and a half was done, the markets basically just settled into a much smaller range, with each of these major tech titans dropping to the strike that where they were going to leave it at, and that's pretty much what happened. Now, what does that do for the count? Nothing. So I'm going to start here on the daily chart for both the S&P and the NASDAQ. And when we start here on the S&P, you can see that I'm still leaving it ABC. I'm not putting the 2 out there yet because I don't think this is done. And I believe that we need to leave open the possibility that we're going to do a double. Now, if indeed this is going to pick up and start to drop off, it needs to do it, and it needs to go, and it doesn't need to stop. Now, how's that going to work? Here we got a shortened week, Thanksgiving next Thursday. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which are going to be light because people are going to start to get a head start on the Thanksgiving holiday if they are traveling via airline. So if they're flying off somewhere, they're likely going to try to do it and get out and beat the crowds that'll show up on Wednesday. So there's that. Friday's a half a day, so many people will be gone the whole week. So this is not a big volume time for the markets. To see a big volume would be surprising, actually, but doesn't mean it can't happen. So don't get me wrong when I say it's just going to be light. That's what I'm expecting from the past. Anyway, so what could we do? Could the market really turn and start to head lower? I will say it could. Now, what I'm trying to determine here, to go back to just looking at this picture, is that we also have just our cycles and some additional information about what could actually trigger the next spike higher or spike lower. So that's what I'm looking for right here. And what is behind that is, I believe, because we're tight in range and not really breaking down and not really breaking up, we're kind of consolidating and just winding springs here. So if you think about your wind to spring, you wind it, when you let it go, goes boing, and you get this big thrust in one way or the other. That's what I think is coming here in the markets. I think that we're going to get a spring-like action, and it's going to jump and break the 200 here in the S&P, or break below the 50s real fast. And that's going to be a great move, and it's going to be one that you're going to want to catch, because it's the energy from winding of the spring. If I had to think to myself what it's going to be, I would think that that spring would be released to the downside. So again, it would be squeezing the longs, right? That's where the squeeze is going to come from, versus that we're getting overly short and they're going to squeeze to the upside. So we're always looking for those breaks where you get a move like this, where you get a move like this. Those are the days. These are big money days for trading. Now, that's on the daily. I'm going to go down to the hourly chart real quick. You get days like that. You get days, we had them right here. That was a great one-way street. So it's a big earning day. So just like this going down, that was a big trade day in terms of that spring got released, the market went down, and you could jump on and hold it and just ride the wave. And so I think we're building up to an additional now, but it's very questionable as to what direction. Now, if I'm thinking that this is ABC, and that's how I've labeled it, on an Elliott basis, what should be coming next? Well, if I'm putting a 2, we'd be looking for the start of an intermediate third wave. Again, Elliott tells us third waves are most often the longest and the strongest wave out of waves 1, 3, and 5 within an impulse. Now, impulse could be up, the impulse could be down. But if we're dropping, we'll be dropping in an intermediate third wave. You're looking for that impulse to pick up and for the downside to really kick in and go. We're dropping into the longest and the strongest part of it, right? The third wave, it should just go. We should not have a problem breaking back below 3,900 and staying below 3,900. So far, it's reached it almost last week and rallied up off of it, and now not deciding. And I'm not sure they're going to make any types of decision overnight or tomorrow, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Now, just to fill in the blank so I don't forget, what we do have numbers coming out. Nothing on Monday, nothing on Tuesday. We got some Fed governors out there speaking some different things, and T-bill auctions, et cetera. But on Wednesday, we got durable goods, jobless claims, PMI composite, new home sales, and consumer sentiment. And those will start at pre-market at 8:30 Eastern, and then at 9:45, and then at 10 a.m. That'll be on Wednesday, and a light day, lightest day. Besides Friday, that Wednesday will be the lightest day of volume. Okay, so I don't really know exactly what we can expect, but if I look at the counts now, back down here at the hourly, we could be forming an additional ABC. So that would suggest, if we're going to move into a double ABC, that we're now in an X wave. That's what separates them, the two larger ABCs. We are separated by an X wave. But I'm telling you, on this hourly chart, this is 3 down, this is 3 up, this is 3 down. So is this ABC, X, ABC? So it's already a double ABC, little, but still. Then we get another ABC. Is this the B wave? 1, 2, and then we're going to come down in another C wave. It's going to be a difficult. So if that's A and that's B, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's C. And then we've got the ABC with just the A wave being a double. So that's what I talk about often when I'm talking about we're in a correction, and people wonder, well, what's the market really supposed to do? Well, it's more difficult to figure out because the choices are 1 out of 13. We have about 13 different choices that we can have in these structures. And now we're working on a minor degree possibility of a double ABC. Because the only other way I could possibly count this is somehow this is 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're just ready to fall off the face of the map here, drop off the hill, the mountain, whatever. Now, I don't necessarily see that coming without some type of fuel. What's going to release that spring? What's going to really bring out the sellers, and they're just going to go pa-boom. So whatever, in my belief now, as we head into the holiday, it's going to come via a surprise. It's going to come from somewhere unexpected. Because if it was going to be a planned move, to me, it's like it would have to be somebody that is more interested in getting the market down to a very low level or level lower than we would expect, because it's going to be thin. So I think if you're coming in as a major seller, not necessarily tying it to something, an event that just happened, it's like I don't know. Unless your goal is to really knock the market lower, or vice versa. You know, people that are going to come in and buy it, and they want to move the market above 4,050. Well, if the market's thin enough and you got enough to buy, it should be easy. So, lots to think about, lots to go with. What I'm looking at right now is that we are likely putting in a small C wave. And this was A, and here's the B, and then we're putting in a C, and I will put an X underneath that, and then we get to do another ABC. So I think that's what's going to unfold until the Fed meets in December, which is, we'll find out, the Fed announcement comes on December the 14th. That's the next spring release day, you could say. That's when if we're going to see something big, one way or the other, the spring either releases and goes up, or the spring releases and goes down. But I'm going to be paying attention, because I believe we will get signals. You can look at the advanced decline. You can look at the advanced decline is going to tell you that the spring is going to unload lower. That much I'll tell you. If you look and you know how to read the advanced decline line, then pay attention. And because it really can come off, and it's going to be a surprise when it does. It's going to drive it that much lower. So I am looking for, on a little bit bigger picture, for the spring to release to the downside, that energy to drive the market lower. And so I'll be paying very close attention here. Again, it's a squeeze. If you know how to use it, this is, and I have it on Thinkorswim. Unfortunately, it's not available on Ninja, as far as I'm aware. You can see we're not really getting a squeeze of anything. It's still green, like it's gonna come. We're not red. We're like, don't expect anything. We're chopping. We're in something. It should squeeze one way or the other. So we can catch these intraday and we get some decent moves. That much, that part we could say. But if you're not really interested in sitting there and watching the market, then it's not going to be worth our while. But we shall see. We shall see. Maybe cut your estimates on what you think you can make. So here in the S&P, we have the 200s. I rolled that all the way back without really showing. And this, we can see, oops, wrong one. Bring it down. Let's take it up and then bring it back up. So we can see inside there. Hourly chart. Spaghetti that we call the moving averages right now, not telling us a dang thing. We've got the breaks that have come several times where the 20 falls and holds below the 50, right? Comes back up, tries to get above the EMA. Running into a little bit of a problem right there, not happening. If we get a continued drop down, in other words, we got an ABC. We're looking here, same deal. ABC, A, ABC, B, or X, and then ABC, yeah. ABC, X, ABC, double ABC for wave A. Gets confusing, I understand. You can hear me, even for me. And then we have another ABC up for the wave B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what can I put on here to give us a little hint of what maybe we'll get? If we're looking for a C wave down, oops, there you go. Then what, here's my fibs. I use fib extensions and I'm connecting the top where this decline started. I go down to there, to that first bottom, up to here. Now I am looking for this next leg down, right? A, B, another C, and I'm going to put an X under it. The combination inside that A wave, bizarre, but it works. And it tells you we are definitely still within a correction. We are not impulsing. That's why I think we're extending out. And I think we go into December in this type of action. We'll be, if I'm correct, and I'm hoping I'm not going to be, because the trading just gets really difficult. If the ranges get smaller and smaller, it's just going to become more difficult. And you have to be better at trading in a range, basically. And if it starts to happen, remind me, because I will give my 2 cents on how I trade for something that's going to be range bound. Because there's a lot of scalping. In any case, what we got right now, again, moving into a slow period because of the holiday, these moving averages are bunched. And we're not moving. We're not going anywhere. So I think we're just going to stay flat, maybe a little bit below, come back up, a little bit below, come back up, staying below. But we're looking eventually for this to catch on, come down 1, 2, give us a 3, 4, and a 5. What we have is, if the C wave is as long as the A wave, then we've got it coming into 38, 55, 56, somewhere in that area. If wave C, it needs to break the low of wave A. That would be one thing, and it can do that by coming in at 618, which is acceptable. But we have to be able to count 3, and it has to be clean. Excuse me, count 5, and it has to be clean. So in other words, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 4 cannot come back and overlap the 1 unless we start to, form a diagonal. I don't really see that coming in yet. So 3908. 38.96, so you can see it gets tight. 38.85, and then maybe down to 38.56, down to 38.50. That should hold. Then we rally. and we put in another larger minor degree ABC, right? So we're staying in the degree. This all will amount to a minor degree X wave, and then we do another minor degree ABC. So we got up, down, and another up. So we can end up back up here or even higher. All before December the 14th, right? So that would cover the X wave. And then if we got the larger, the C wave coming, I mean, not the C wave, but just the second ABC, we still can go back and we're looking for that minor or intermediate degree wave 2. So let's go back and check where those come in. So now we got upside targets, right? If it should just keep going, we're going to looking for that. Then we got another ABC that could bring us back up 4,012 for certain, up to 4,068, up to 4,084. Cannot cross 4327.5, but it can get to 42 if it wants. And I could do some additionals once we get some additional downside to have something to base it on. Then we'll have more fibs to these levels. But right now, the raw data, this is what we can expect. Okay, over to the NASDAQ. Going to be the same story. Here we are with the daily chart. Again, almost a year into this thing, still counting this action here as an intermediate second wave. ABC, 2's not up there. It's going to take a while. Bring it back down to that hourly chart so we can see the internals. Same deal. ABC, X, ABC, A, ABC, B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put those extensions back up so we can see in the NASDAQ where it should come. And in the NASDAQ, 618 is 11,476, clears that nicely. So that definitely, but we got to see what the structure. Remember, I got to be able to count. The 1's pretty big. So 3, I don't know. Maybe that's where 3 comes in and we get a little 4 and a 5. But anywhere 11,476. We do have some support, 11,550 to 45. We got the 200s here. If we can break below those 200s and it's a thin market, then I think we get down here pretty quick. Where this wave C would equal wave A of this X wave, we're at 11,250. That's where that could come in. Then we rally again. So the concept of like, oh, we're going to have an end of year rally, I think at points we will, but I think we're also going to have a year-end sell-off at different points. And maybe the big year-end sell-off comes once the Fed makes their announcement. But here again, on the hourly, if you're looking at your squeeze, I'm trying, these are what I want to catch. See that move? See how it moved? That was a great day. These were minis, so they're not all that good, but they're still tradable. Day traders, great. If you're really looking, maybe do a swing trade, you need this. You need this. And that's what we're building up to. See, spring, winding. So, and these aren't red. These are if the red dots are telling you chop, don't get in. But once you're green, you've got some squeeze going on, but nothing really great. So a little bit here, right? A little bit here, then nothing. We got nothing going on yet. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on, because when the spring gets wound tight enough, folks, we will get one of these. And it happened, but when we saw and how it went, that was producing these. You just get in because you know you're going to get more. These are little corrections, but that's fine. If you're in it and you're doing it for like a day or even over 2 days, you sit through that because you got a lot more coming. The trend has been made clear and you got a lot more coming. All right. And that's really going to be it for today, because again, slow week. Everything economic data wise comes out on Wednesday. Thanksgiving on Thursday, half day on Friday. I will let y'all know, because before I really came back and started doing a trade room, I never traded the day after Thanksgiving. When I was on the trading floor, unless I was in Europe because they don't celebrate Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, I was at home. I did not trade. I didn't go to the floor. So notoriously slow. A little bit better these days, so they say, but still notoriously slow. All right, our next update will be on Monday, the 21st of November.